Hi there everyone, Rob here with today's Western Pacific weather update. It is June 30th, 2012, and lots to talk about out here today in the Western Pacific, so let's dive right into it. First, we're talking about Tropical Storm Doksuri. It's pushing off towards the west across Hanoi and then into Vietnam, but as yesterday, it actually did bring widespread heavy rainfall across southeastern China and also some fairly gusty winds actually at the Great Buddha in Hong Kong. Winds were recorded up to about 123 kilometers per hour wind gust. That's the highest I did see out there. If anybody saw anything higher, please let me know. And also, if you click the annotation here on the bottom of the screen, you can see some videos coming out from our affiliate Typhoon Chaser here in Hong Kong, or Typhoon Hunter is this username on YouTube. Some really good footage there as well coming out of that region. But for now, this is starting to push off here towards the west. Let's take a look at the official agency, actually here from the Japan Meteorological Agency. And they have actually since ceased a warning on this tropical system. They do have it as tropical depression after it made landfall there just towards the southwest of Hong Kong. Now that main blob of moisture is pushing off towards the west, so the winds are really not so much there anymore, but still might be seeing some heavy rainfall going into the next 72 hours. As you can see here actually on the 72-hour rainfall accumulation, this is with the GFS model overlay, and you can really pinpoint this moving across Hanoi and then into Vietnam and even farther out there towards the west. So heavy rainfall could be expected there up to about 100 to 200 millimeters into the next 72 hours. But let's pull away from this area since it really is a non-factor now as it continues to rush off there towards the west, and look out here into the Pacific Ocean, and specifically into the Philippine Sea, where we have a low pressure area now. That is one absolutely horrible low. We have our low pressure area now, and this is expected to push off towards the west. Right now, though, it is starting to actually slowly gain some organization, and if it does so, according to at least this model, some heavy rainfall across much of the central Philippines. And let's pull back the satellite picture and kind of take a look at what I'm talking about. And this is our low pressure area right in here just towards the east of Palau, towards the south of Yap. You can really see that circulation and that inflow coming in from the west. A little bit of dry air influence coming in from the north, though I think this is what's keeping this somewhat disorganized. Also, there's some fairly strong vertical wind shear pushing in on the north on the system, up to about 20 knots there on the northeastern periphery of the storm. But as this continues to track off there towards the west, you can really see it is moving into much better conditions, about 5 to 10 knots over in this area, 5 to 10 knots right out ahead of it. Always remember that wind shear is kind of like a chimney. That's what I usually like to refer to. If you knock it over on the side, the smoke's not going to be able to get released, thus a little exhaust out of these tropical systems. With low vertical wind shear, it's just basically a chimney going straight up so that smoke can rise right out of here and allow for further development of your fire in the lower levels. So that's kind of where this is going to be headed here into the next 24 to 48 hours. Also, really expecting this just to stay on a westerly course. If we look at the overall background flow, you can see that the easterlies really are going to be keeping this on that westerly course before pushing it just a little bit towards the northeast, and then over Visayas and the southern portions of Luzon, and maybe carrying it out there towards southeastern China, including Hong Kong, by the latter part of next week. Still a very long range on that, but I really do trust this guidance specifically. I do also look at a lot of models, but this one really kind of always pulls through in the long range, especially out here in the Western Pacific once you start looking at some of these mid-levels with these early developing systems. But let's take a look at one of my more favorite models, the GFS model here. And they do show a slow developing system there just towards the east of the Philippines, and then pushing off there towards the west, moving on shore over Visayas, going in to your Monday and then into Tuesday. Really, this is where they're indicating that center of circulation making landfall across the northern portions of Visayas into southeastern Luzon. Once again, the system doesn't look like it might develop up too strong, maybe a strong tropical storm. If we do get surprised here, though, due to the warm sea surface temperatures here, you might see that huge ball of convection like we saw with Doksuri, and maybe even a very weak typhoon. I still don't really quite jumping onto that ship yet, though. A tropical storm really seems like that's what will be on the cards here going across the Philippines into next week. But at the time, though, the Japan Meteorological Agency has it stamped as a low pressure area. You do see some of that circulation coming around it, though, and it's really quite obvious. Actually, look at some of these wind barbs here coming in from the west, also up there towards the north. That whole wrap around coming around the northern portions of this system, and there's one there, one there, one there, and then another one like that. So that really kind of indicates that overall flow coming around it. But at this time, though, it's something also just to continue to watch in the next 24 hours. I do believe by the end of the weekend we will have a much better idea on what's going to be happening there. But let's look towards the south into Australia, just off the northern portions of the Coral Sea, and play a game. Can you spot the tropical cyclone, at least what the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is calling a tropical cyclone here, barely at tropical storm equivalent intensity. It is tropical storm, or tropical cyclone, excuse me, 21 right in here. It is being called 21 because the Australian Bureau of Meteorology is not warning on it. They're not even really talking about this area all so much, and is pulling off here towards the southeast, starting to push towards the New Caledonia region. Nothing's going to be coming out of this. It's really, you have to remember this entire area. If you're not too familiar with southern hemisphere weather, this is the middle of winter, and the sea surface temperatures are not really so conducive. Wind shear is also not there. There's very limited supply of moisture during your January and February months. There's always this monsoonal trough across this entire area that supplies ample moisture for tropical cyclones to develop. As you can see now, the Australian high is creeping in from the south, pushing in dry moisture, or dry air, excuse me, onto this system. So I do not expect anything significant at all to come out of this. It is just one of those storms that you can watch swirl on the satellite imagery here and not really be worried about at all. So thanks again for watching here, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as always, please post them in the comment box below. Would also like to remind you, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Western Pacific Weather, or you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Robert Speta. Also, please don't forget to hit the like button or subscribe to us if you're watching this on YouTube. It always helps us out to try to get this information out to that many more people. But thanks again for watching, though, and please stay safe out there. Have a great day. Bye.